जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। ऐसे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोकुल बिहार श्याम कुंज राधा कुंज गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। रसमुनि वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। यमुना मैया की जय। वृंददेव भक्तिदेव तुलसी महारानी की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Guru Brahmas. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Varshabda Deshnarine.
Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to ISKCON Waterloo Saturday program. Thank you all for coming. The next part of the program we'll be having is Narsimarti, and who's designated to sing Narsimarti today? Okay. Okay, so if someone's not there, you can fill in the spot. And then after that, we'll be doing a little bit of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan. So we'll be chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra after that. And then after that part of the program, we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And then at the very end, question and answers. And at the finale would be some more Kirtan and Prasadam. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pranadena Dadaine. Hiranyakashi Hare
Hare Krishna. So we'll be passing on the chanting beads now so that we can all chant together. Those who have their own chanting beads, you can use them. For those who don't, we'll provide them so you can chant with them. So the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is what we are going to be doing. Usually when we start that, before that we chant this mantra and we're going to sing that, so all of you can repeat after me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Let's do that again. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
One more time. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Now we'll be chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So that mantra goes from the first beat all the way around, and we don't use the index finger. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna. So everyone here has Bhagavad Gita with them? It's good if you, thank you, yes, Prabhu. Those who like, who don't have the means, and if you like, you can take them with you to chant at home. And if not, yes, we can take them back. Hare Krishna. So we'll be first singing a small bhajan, or I guess the best way to describe it is the way to enter into the spiritual world. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who has sung this, says it would be like a gateway to the spiritual world. Am I audible? Is it better now? No? There? Okay. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare We'll be reading from Bhagavad Gita. Last 2 weeks ago, actually, we read Bhagavad Gita verse 259. Today we'll be reading the verse 60. So those who don't have a Bhagavad Gita, I would recommend you get one for yourself. It is a really good book to have. And you can, whenever possible, just even open a random page and read it. We are trying to do a little systematic study of the Bhagavad Gita, and the goal is just so that all of us can benefit from whatever knowledge has been passed down to us from the disciplic succession. Okay? So, for now, if you don't have the book, you can just go online and look up the verse. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized, verse 60. Yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschita indriyani pramatini haranti prashabham mana yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschita indriyani pramatini haranti prasabham mana yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschita indriyani pramatini haranti prasabham mana. So would anyone like to repeat?
Yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramatini haranti prasabham mana.
Yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramatini haranti prasabham mana.
Yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramatini haranti prasabham manaha.
Maybe few Matajis can try now.
Yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani paramini haranti prasabham manaha. Yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramatini haranti Haranti prasabham mana.
Haranti prasabham mana.
Anyone? One more person?
यततो ह्यपि कौन्तेय
Yatato hi api kaunteya
पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः
purushasya vipassitaha
इन्द्रियाणि प्रमादीनि
indriyani pramatini
हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः
haranti prasabham mana.
So we'll read the translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the one who wrote or gave us Bhagavad Gita as it is. None of what we read here has been tweaked or edited in a way to forcibly give a message, but much more as it is, what he wanted for us to understand in the disciplic succession. So we'll be thankful for Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination, who is endeavoring to control them. Purport. There are many learned sages, philosophers and transcendentalists who try to conquer the senses, but in spite of their endeavors, even the greatest of them sometimes fall victim to material sense enjoyment due to the agitated mind. Even Vishwamitra, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Menaka into sex enjoyment, although the yogi was endeavoring for sense control with severe type of penance and yoga practice. And of course, there are so many similar instances in the history of the world. Therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot cease such material engagements. A practical example is given by Sri Yamunacharya, a great saint and devotee, who says, Yadavadi mama cheta Krishna padaravinde nava nava rasa damanya udatam rantum asit tadavadi bhattanari sangame smaryamane bhavanti mukhu vikara sustu nisti vanamcha. Since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at the thought. Krishna consciousness is such a transcendentally nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man has satisfied his hunger by a sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaj Ambrish also conquered a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness. Savai mana Krishna padar vindayor vacham sivai kuntu gunanavannane. So we'll just ask for blessings for the Guru Parampara, and then after that we'll read the translation once again. Om Gyanam Piram Vashya Gyanam Janashlakaya Chakshivam Unmilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave. I was born in the darkest of ignorance. My spiritual masters opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto them. Hare Krishna. So, the translation again. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. So previously, the previous verse that we read was also in the same line. It was talking about Vishaya Vinivartante, Nira Harasya Dehina, Raso Varjam Rasupesya, Param Drisva Nivartate. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagements, by experiencing higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. That was the previous one. The first and the most important thing that this verse talks about is that we have to accept our position that we are vulnerable. It's a way for us to understand that we don't have to be pretending, but actually accepting the fact that even though if we know what is wrong, what is right, what is where we need to draw the line, what is discrimination, there can be some turbulence in the path. There can be some trouble for someone who is trying to endeavor on this path. As the verse says, the senses are so strong and impetuous, right? So that is why this happens. The force that carries away the mind, even though the capacity of discrimination is there, is what I guess this verse is mostly trying to give us an understanding of. So, I'll talk a little bit about Sri Yamunacharya, just to give a little bit of a background. Does anyone know Sri Yamunacharya? Have anyone heard of Yamunacharya? Yamunacharya?
So he was the king, he was one of the kings of South India.
Yes. One of the others, and he was a king before he became a devotee. And comes in that he is someone who is a great saint who came in the disciplic succession of Sri Sampradaya, Ramanuja Sampradaya specifically. So Yamunacharya being a king, had all the possible pleasures and entertainment and all the money that he wanted. In fact, very precisely speaking, any king have wine and woman to their disposal. That is what Prabhupada mentions. It melts down to mainly those two. And again, not to understand in a context that we're trying to be misogynist or anything, but it's a mutual thing. It's women for men and men for women. And wine, or just a way to show the opulence that you have lots of money. You'll have so many people around you. So Yamunacharya actually had, before being a devotee, he had been in a situation where he had unrestricted enjoyment. And this is one of the common questions which many times devotees have, that, I'm trying to control my mind, but still those negative thoughts, those unnecessary thoughts keep coming. And this is the example that we have of Sri Yamunacharya, that he, in his prayers, he is being vulnerable. He is trying to open up his heart. As it is mentioned, we know there are 6 loving exchanges between devotees. In the Nectar of Instruction, we have those 6 loving exchanges, and one of them is revealing the heart. Here, Yamunacharya is being very honest and being vulnerable, and he's saying that he's experienced something like this in the past, right? But he's saying that there is something even higher that he's experiencing, which is, since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. So the word of importance here is service of the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay? I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor. So, for those who don't understand the term humor, doesn't mean just the frivolous laughing kind of humor. It much more means the transcendental mellow or loving exchange or rasa, like the nectar. It's in that context. So this is what Yamunacharya is experiencing when he's able to do service of the Lord. And still, he's saying that there can be times whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at the thought. So again, he's being vulnerable, he's telling us like this is actually a fact, this is what was happening with me in the past, this is happening with, but of course we understand that such exalted personalities are living their life, they are acharyas, they are living their life in a way to help us understand what actually being humble is. So he being humble, he's saying that whenever the thought comes, he spits at the thought, right? So one of the times my spiritual master said, it doesn't mean that we have to start spitting in the temple. It actually means mental way of rejecting the whole thought, right? We have to be very respectful to the opposite gender, but simultaneously we have to have distaste. But above that, what do we have to do? Anyone? Okay, control our senses. What else? Something about that.
Experience the higher taste, devotional service.
Sorry, Guru?
Experience the higher taste, devotional service.
Experience the higher taste. Yes. How do we do that?
Service of the lotus feet of the Lord.
Yes. So the way I said, the most important word is service, right? And then in the same verse, we see the example of Maharaj Ambarish, right? Savai mana, savai mana. What is the word? Mana. Mana means mind, right? The same mind. Yadavadi mama cheta Krishna padaravinda. So the same chitta, the thought process, the chetana, the consciousness, the mind, if you are able to engage in the service of the Lord, then it takes care of many more problems and turbulences. So we see the example of Vishwamitra Muni given here, that a great sage and perfect yogi, many years of penances. Right? I think when the previous words we were discussing, it was also mentioned about what was the name of the sage who was underwater doing meditation? Saubhari Muni, right? So even the slightest deviation, if the mind goes off, it creates so much of a havoc, right? And that is the mind that we have to try and work on controlling, which is very difficult, no doubt. But we don't want to do things artificially. And that is why we see in this verse, even if you have that discrimination, what is wrong and what is right, but then we have to be a little bit more kind of taking a step forward and ahead, thinking what else should be done now. And that is what it is mentioned in this verse. So Ambarish Maharaj is engaging all his senses, including his Jnanendriya, Karnendriya, knowledge acquiring senses, and then also the senses which actually perceive things, all of them. He's engaging them in the service of the Lord. I was actually How many of you got a chance to smell the rose today? Did it have any fragrance? Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking actually. The purpose of us smelling is much more to engage one of our senses. But when we use the incense, did everyone smell the incense? Yes. So we also leave them outside, so anyone entering can also smell them the first thing. And we also use them many a times in during our Sankirtan as well. We'll just put few incense and the aroma would be enough for people to get attracted to, right? But there are such many wonderful, not incense, but fragrances that we come across. And if we think about Krishna, or we offer those flavors or smells or aromas to Krishna, then we are able to use one of our senses in the service of the Lord. Going back to the rose, that's the actual importance why we're doing that. You know, of course, it's touched the lotus feet and we can also put it on our head, but even the smell is something which is going to help us to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. Does anyone remember any example of someone who by just the smell was attracted to the Lord? Who? Four Kumaras, right? So, and the reason I'm bringing the four Kumaras is, did they have the tendency to discriminate? Yes or no? Okay, everyone knows who four Kumaras are? No? They are sons of Lord Brahma. So, when the creation takes place, the first four individuals who come out of Brahma are four Kumaras. Okay, so even Brahma, Lord Brahma can create without having a union with a female. But the first four sons are Chatur Kumar. Can anyone help me with their name? Sanat, Sanantana, Sanatana and? Okay, repeat again, bro.
Sanatan, Sanandan, and
Sanat Kumar, yes. So they were, the reason they are called Chatur is because they are four, but Kumar is because they are at a Kaumar age always. Okay, Kaumar age is something which is not going beyond 5. So those four Kumaras were given the task by Lord Brahma that you have to go and increase the population. They were the first four sons who was like outright rejected their father. They're like, not happening. We are not going to do this. And that is why Lord Brahma gets angry. And then who comes after? Lord Shiva, Rudra, because of the anger. Okay, this is just the side part, but I'm trying to help you understand that the discrimination, even at a 5 year of age, the four Kumaras had the tendency to discriminate, and they did not want to get involved or entangled into the whole aspect of family life. They're like, no, you're going to stay a 5-year-old rest of our life, and we'll continue our devotion. So they were already at a level of discriminating. They were able to do that discrimination, but they were not able to worship the personal feature of the Lord. They had a tendency to just work by rules and regulations and devotion based on impersonal feature of the Lord. But when they took the fragrance of the tulsi that was offered to the Lord's lotus feet, do you see that on Lord here, Radha Madhav's lotus feet? If not, maybe before you have one more darshan, see if you can find Tulsi Dal sitting at the lotus feet. they smelled that, and that fragrance was enough for them to appreciate the personal beauty of the Lord. And that's where they wanted to see the Lord, appreciate the Lord, and serve the Lord after. Right? So the point is, even though one can have the tendency to discriminate, so this verse is actually a step forward as compared to the previous verse, which is talking about restriction of sense enjoyment. Versus this verse now gets into even those who are restricting themselves, even they can slip and fall. But there is a silver lining to this. There is definitely something more relishable than this. Okay? And that is that what we see here, what Yamunacharya is telling us. Yadavadi mama cheta Krishna padaravinda. Pada Aravind. Right? So the lotus feet. Service at the lotus feet of the Lord. So I cannot emphasize more, but the importance is serving the Lord. When we do service, there is a very nice example that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is one of the verses which I was trying to remember a few days back when we were reading Bhagavad Gita, but it was not coming to me. It is from Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm going to try my best to read the whole verse, but I only remember the first line of it really nicely. Bhakti pareshanubhavo viraktir anyatra chaisa trika esha kala prapadyamneshu yathanstasyu tusti pusti kshira apayo nu rasanam. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam 11 Canto, second chapter, verse 42, and the translation goes: devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. This three occurs simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. How many of you here have an experience of eating? Raise a hand, just to make sure. 2 hands from Alefro. Yes. So, of course, we all have had something to eat. Otherwise, we would have not survived until now. But what happens when we eat? Anyone? Please keep it interactive. I just don't want anyone to lose off.
We satisfy our hunger.
We satisfy our hunger. Nice. Does that happen right away in the first morsel? You taste the food? Nice. That happens in the first morsel? Yes. Okay, good. So, we taste the food, right? As soon as we put it in the mouth, we taste it. Right, okay. Then what else happens? Tusti, Pusti, and Shud Apaya, all three. So what is Tusti? Satisfaction. Pushti? Nourishment. Like someone who has not eaten, like how many of you might have fasted for like a long time, and then the first thing goes in your mouth and you're like, oh, this is great. Does that happen? Yes. Okay. So even though, to Prabhu's point, we get nourished immediately, but we don't feel, because we're not fully satisfied yet, but we still get nourishment immediately. We feel like energy right away. The sugar spikes right away, right? Yes. And what's the third thing? Shuddha Payaha. What is Shuddha Payaha? eradication of hunger. How long can you eat even though you are hungry for 24 hours? How long? 15 minutes? 14 minutes? Okay. People are watching that clock when they eat, I guess. Yeah. Well, the point is, we are not going to be hungry forever. There would be a moment where we're like, okay, I'm satisfied. And then we don't eat until whenever we are hungry again. Right? But, so, just by the simple act of eating a meal, we are able to get three things. Okay? Let's talk about them again quickly. What happens? Tushti, pushti, and shuddhapaya. Satisfaction, nourishment, and eradication of hunger. And that increases by each morsel. Right? The amount of hunger we had when we first put a morsel in the mouth as compared to the last one. Nobody has to tell us that, okay, that's it. I don't want to eat anymore. Right? Or maybe sometimes that needs to be for buffet or something. Right? But the point is, we still know that we are going to be like satisfied now. The same way, bhakti is applying the same principle. What are the three things that happen with bhakti? Anyone? Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. All three are going to happen the moment we put the first Hare Krishna Mahamantra in our ears, not in our mouth. Right? But yes, through the mouth or someone else chanting as well. So, there are two things. The reason I'm bringing this verse now is because one I mentioned. What is the first thing? What is Sri Yamunacharya telling us? That we have to be service of the lotus feet. Yes, but what is he giving us a picture of? Like, one can be vulnerable. One has to accept the fact that not every one of us came out as a, full-on devotee. That's the first thing. And that includes myself. I'm just trying to reiterate that for me. But then we are honest with ourselves at least. And then the second aspect of this is patience. Right? Service is the main or the only message which I would like everyone to take home. But in order to do the service, this is a very common question people ask, right? Like, oh, I'm doing so much of service, I'm chanting, but I'm still finding no satisfaction, like why I'm still suffering. So this is the part of the discussion that it's almost like eating, right? When we do devotional service, when we start service, what happens? The first thing that happens? First thing that happens when we start service? Devotion. What is the second thing? Direct perception, not indirect. Direct perception of the Lord. Okay? And what's the third thing? So, when you are eating, I know many people watch their calories, but do you try and only take certain things that are going to be like, okay, I only want this and this and this out of the meal, or you just eat the meal? What would you do? Like, we want the weights, we don't eat too many calories, but do we have to 1 calorie, 2 calories? Does it count like that? Right. So the same way, the moment we start our devotional service, we are already working on our path of detaching things. Okay? So that's a good news, is it? Or it's a bad news? Good news? Okay, nice. So we are setting a new standard for our devotion, or our detachment rather, in devotion as we start our process of bhakti. It's a direct relation. There is three things. There is bhakta, which is a devotee. There is Bhagavan, that is Supreme Lord. And then there is bhakti. Those are the three things. But when we start the devotional service, we have the direct relationship with the Lord. Nobody can deny that relationship. Okay? But also what we have to understand, that as we are starting to do the devotional services, there are surely some do's and don'ts. The discrimination is also to be something to be aware of. But when we have that goal in our mind, that I want to satisfy my hunger, we are going to do anything that it takes to satisfy our hunger. So first, we have to try and see if we can somehow or the other bring that hunger. And that is exactly what you all chant when you are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. O energy of the Lord, please engage me in the service of the Lord. That is what we are chanting. Okay? So we are begging for some help. And that begging is a way to get some menial service. And when we start service, that service is going to guaranteed help us to have direct perception of the Lord. It's going to help us with detachment, and it's going to help us with devotion. Okay? So, Prabhupada in fact said, chanting is the means and the end. So the way to get service is by chanting, but chanting is the only service which is what we might be able to at some point in stage in our life. Like right now we are able to engage all the senses in doing so many activities, like carrying pots, this, that, cleaning, playing with angam, so many things. But there is going to be a stage when the physical body is not going to be functional. At that time, it is mostly going to be, bedridden position, and then we cannot stand up and do service. We would be only able to chant the name of the Lord. Right? So, that is this verse. I do want to mention something about a couple more things, but I'll stop here and see if there is any questions, discussions, something that we can have a little bit more dialogue rather than monologue. We have mics which we can circulate.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, this question is not really related to our topic, but you touched upon it, about Brahma and 4 Kumaras. So I think there is a misconception in our society. So can you please elaborate on the position of Brahma, Krishna and Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, if possible?
Yeah, it's a very detailed topic, but for that, my biggest recommendation is you should read Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the scripture which would give the description in much thorough detail. But for a simple understanding, we can go to chapter 11, 10 rather, where we have one verse where Krishna is saying, among the Rudras, Rudranam. Can someone help me with that verse? Which is the verse number? Among the weapons, some thunderbolt. 23. Okay. Rudranam Sankaras Chasmi. So this chapter is talking about the opulence of the Absolute, and out of the many things that are described, there is this understanding which is Rudranam Sankaras Chasmi. So this is Lord Krishna saying, of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. And Vasus, I am Fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. There are 11 Rudras, and of whom Shankara, Lord Shiva, is predominant. He is this incarnation of Supreme Lord, in charge of the mode of ignorance of the universe. So this is just to kind of give a bit of an understanding between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna. But Brahma, Lord Brahma, was the first living entity. So, what is one of the ways Lord Brahma has been addressed? Swayambhu. Does anyone know the meaning of the word Swayambhu? Sorry? You can try it, there is no wrong.
Self-manifested.
Self-manifested, yes. Swayambhu, right? So he's manifested from the navel of the Lord. Does anyone know, have anyone seen that picture? That Lord Brahma comes out of the navel of the Lord, right? And yeah, so Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, so Garbha, we have heard of the term Garb, embryo, right? But the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the Lord Brahma comes out of there. And it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that there was no one around him at that time. And the Lord is resting on the Ananta Shesha, and then there is the stem of the lotus. In the stem of the lotus, all the planetary systems, 7 above, 7 below, all of that is there. And the topmost is Brahmaloka or Satyaloka, right? And in between we have our Prithvi Loka, right? So at first, Brahma is seeing there is nothing around, there is nowhere to go, what to do. So he tries to explore, he goes down, it is even mentioned he swims down the navel, and there is nothing to be found. And then he hears only 2 words, ta, pa, and he starts the meditation. He meditates on what needs to be done, and then the Lord in the heart reveals him about the whole creation. And then at that point in time, the Chatur Shloki Bhagavatams, which is the interaction between Lord and Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu and Brahma is there. And that is one of the Bhagavatams which we read in the Bhagavatam that we have right now. And at that time, he's an engineer, by the way. Lord Brahma is an engineer. So he's been given the task to create. So whatever living entities are resting in the previous, I guess it gets too technical, but all the living entities are resting in an inanimate state in the body of Lord Vishnu. And then when the Lord exhales, inhales, then the bubbles come out, and that's each universe. And each universe has the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and each universe have Brahma. So that's where you have 4-headed Brahma, 400-headed Brahma, 4 million-headed Brahma, so many different Brahmas. Each universe has those Brahmas. Each universe has those 7 planets above and below. It's like that. But one particular Brahma, if we talk about, that's what we're referring to right now, and he's been given the task to create. So when the task to create, he starts, and that's where, again, he doesn't have anyone. He's the only living entity. And from his body, that's why I mentioned the 4 Kumaras come out. Right? They come from his mind, actually. That's how it is. And that four Kumaras were told by Lord Brahma that you should start creation. And they refused. And as soon as they refused, because a son is, disobeying the father, that is where the churning of the anger comes, because there is a desire, and desire is not fulfilled is what causes anger, which we know from Bhagavad Gita. That's exactly what happens. And that is where the Lord Brahma's third eye, Rudra, the whole concept of anger, the principle of more of passion, more of ignorance comes from, and that is what we see that, and that's why I kind of touched on it. Okay, does that help? But yeah, it's definitely a lot more. If you want to read more, definitely there is secondary creation, tertiary creation. All of it is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a really important thing to read, but many people only know, as you said, misconception is just Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, but they don't know beyond that. And in fact, last week when I was hearing or reading something, it is mentioned that there is also the debate all the time that who is bigger, Vishnu or Krishna. And that was also answered in one way, that what we know of Lord Krishna, who was here 5,000 years ago, he comes only in one lifetime of Lord Brahma. And if you look at the time calculations and everything, that is much more intricate, but we're talking, I don't know, chapter 8 has the exact number. Zeros beyond what I can count. 132, and then like at least 10 or 12 zeros after. So that's how long the day calculation as per Earth timings are. Okay. Any other questions, any other reflections, realizations, please share. It is really good if we can do that. Anything? You would like to say something, Babu? Yeah. Okay. We have two mics, don't we?
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
So, one from today's verses says, senses are so powerful that even the greatest of the great can be defeated. And if you can explain what's the solution in easiest term that I can understand.
Yes, thank you, Babu. Yes, service.
Like how?
With your hands, with your legs, with your mouth. So when we do the chanting, that is the prayer. Actually, you're touching on what I wanted to talk about, so that's good. We can use that. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, okay. So, when you are chanting, you're using your tongue. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Sevan Mukhehi Jivado. Right? I can't remember the whole words right now. Oh, do you remember? Sevan Mukhehi Jivado. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Na Graha Romindriya. You have the mic? Sevan Mukhehi Jivado.
Swayameva Sfurutadaha.
Swayameva Spriha.
Swayameva Sfuruti Adaha.
Spuruti Adaha. So, the way to start service is using your tongue. When you use your tongue, what can you do with your tongue? Tell me.
Say the name.
In a very simple term, what can you do with the tongue?
Taste.
Taste, nice. And what else you can do with the tongue? Talk?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So instead of using the tongue to just talk any random stuff, we use it in the service of the Lord. And that's where we are using our senses. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We are using the tongue to vibrate the name of the Lord. What else you can do with the tongue, you said? Taste, right? So the relevant example what we just read. So what should we taste?
Yeah, prasadam, food.
Food stuff that is offered to the Lord. And that is what we should accept. The way we gave the example of the flower. When it is offered to the Lord, the fragrance it's offered to the Lord, that is going to help us. So we use that to engage in the service. So that it is very simple. If you have to go today home and you would think that, okay, I want to start service, you only have two obligations. Start chanting and eat only Krishna Prasad. If you do those two things, you're already on the devotional process. And as you start doing that, you'll feel satisfied, you'll feel devotion, and also the third thing, which is going to be detachment. That is when the things not to do comes. Then you'll be more or less inquiring, what should I do even more to get taste? What should I do even more so that I can engage in the service? Right? So at that time, then you have to inquire from someone who can give you a little bit more knowledge, like a guru, who can say, okay, these are the don'ts, these are the do's, and if you do them, you'll be able to balance your devotional service better. Like, for example, if you are sick, does the doctor sometimes tell that not to eat some things?
Yes.
Right. And also tells to take some medications, right? But as of now, if we even start with one thing, which is just take the right medication. What is the medication? Krishna Prasad and
His name.
chanting his name. Then you're working on one side. And then when you feel, yes, moving forward, then you also work on things to boost that. And that boost comes from also avoiding certain things to do. Right? Like, I can give an example of driving. You could drive, but if you want to drive on the road, you also need to know the rules and regulations, right? You could drive in the parking lot, that's fine, or maybe remote control car, or like on the computer, whatever. But then you also need to know what not to do when you're on the road. Same thing. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for that nice question. Any other comments, questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, my question is not related to today's class.
Maybe we can save it for the last then.
Last?
Yeah, last. Yeah. So if there is anyone's particular, because I want to tie in one topic which I left discussing, so we'll come back to that question.
Sure.
Anyone? Okay. So I want to just touch on something important, and that is, we talked about service, right? So maybe I'll ask a question before I kind of go into this aspect. How many of you have experienced some way or form serving the Lord? How many of you experienced that? Raise of hands. No? Did everybody hear the question? How many of you have experienced the service of the Lord, like how that you have done some service for the Lord? Okay? Right. Okay. What was your intention or motive behind doing that service? To please the Lord? Okay, someone else. It could be something else too. I'm not judging here anyone. What was your motivation for serving?
To connect with Krishna.
to connect with Krishna, serving the Lord, to please Him, to become a better person. Anything else? Moksha? Nice. Okay, good. So, whatever your reason might be for serving the Lord, it is okay. It's a start. Okay? So what we have read in Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, is that you can serve the Lord with whatever motive or intention you might have. Can anyone remind me the verse? Where I'm going with this? Anyone? Relating to what I'm saying? No? Sorry, bro? Yes, I'm saying that, okay. Akama sarva kamo va. Akama sarva kamo va. Moksha kama udarate. Tivrena bhakti yogena. And what's the last part? Yajeta purusham param. Right? So, Prabhu mentioned about moksha, better person, pleasing the Lord, everyone said. What else was it? Something else, someone else mentioned as well. It's okay. But, so, what was it?
Being a good person.
Being a good person, yes. So, akama sarva kamo. If you have any motive, if you don't have any motive. Or if you want to get liberation, or if you want more money, if you want fame, whatever. At least start the bhakti process. Right? Akama sarva kamo ma. Moksha kama udarave. Tivrena. What is tivra? Anyone knows the word tivra?
Intense.
Intense. Right? What should you do intensely?
Bhakti yoga.
Tivrena bhakti yogena. The yoga of bhakti. What does the yoga of bhakti involve? No, there are three things. Bhakta, Bhagwan and Bhakti. That is Bhakti Yoga. It's between you and the Lord. What happens? Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. What's the last part? Yajeta Purusham Param. Who is the Param Purush? Krishna. So when we are engaged Tivrena, with full-fledged devotion to the Lord, doesn't matter what our motive is, what our motive isn't. Ultimately, the Lord will be able to help us because it's between you and the Lord. Now, I'm not wanting to, make an understatement and importance of spiritual master, because spiritual master is much needed, and this is what Prabhupada mentions many a times in many different purports. And this is where I'll stop by saying that all the previous acharyas are giving us an example how to learn, how to understand, how to move forward. But we also have to put in the effort. So we having the devotional sentiment is not sufficient. We have to go to the next level of making our services in a proper streamlined way. And that is where the spiritual master can help us. Srila Prabhupada is someone who has kindly helped us, giving us all this knowledge. So my request, and I beg for all of you to consider taking time every day to read Prabhupada's books. If you don't have the books, please get them. Prabhupada said that these books would be something that can really help in the darkest moment of despair. And many of us experience that on a regular basis at mental level, physical level, spiritual level, so please use these books. For those who don't have Bhagavad Gita, definitely take one home. For For those who don't have Srimad Bhagavatam, also consider getting one. It is not something to like waste your money towards. It's much more proper investment for your spiritual credit. So I'll stop there. Mataji had one question, and then after that we'll move to the next part of the program. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. If we do chanting, trying to do follow principles, hearing Krishna Katha, but what is the importance of receiving initiation?
Yes, as I just mentioned that we are not trying to undermine the concept of spiritual master, because Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, Yasya prasadat na gati kutopi. Dhyayanstu vansam, Yasyastu sanyam vande guru shri charanarabindam. Do you know that prayer? Okay, what does it mean to you?
Like prayer, first prayer to Guru.
Right. So, not the first one, but yes, in Mangalarati we sing that prayer, right? And Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasad. What does the spiritual master do? Yasya prasad. He is the one who gives us the prasad. Prasad is not just food items, even that, but he is the one who actually is able to give us Krishna. When you are chanting, when you are doing all your devotional services, you could do that even before you are initiated. But when, okay, I'll make it very simple. It might sound too mundane, but I'll just use that example. If someone has a relationship with other person, but they are not officially married, right? Would they still go to the process of getting married or no? Many times they would, many don't, but there is an official process, right? And that gives you like a proper, legitimate connection to get the benefits or whatever, you know? So the same way, spiritual master is your official connection to the Guru Parampara and all the way to the Lord. Before that, you can do all what you are doing in devotional service. But now, when you're doing it, because it's coming from Guru, you're learning from him what are the do's, what are the don'ts, what is the right way of pleasing the Lord. Like, I'll give another example which might hit home to you from the perspective of having a small kid to take care of. If you bring your child to someone, would you just leave them there saying that do whatever you like, or you'll give all their diapers or whatever their preference of meals or whatever their clothing, you'll provide all that, right? So that you can take personal care even though while you are not there. It's the same idea. Spiritual master knows the insider secret. He knows what are the needs of the Lord, and he can tell you which way you can please him more. When you go through the spiritual master, you are able to please the Lord the right way, not just any haphazard way. So that is what the spiritual master does. He gives you the knowledge, the right way to please the Lord. So that is why the official process is needed. Does that help? Nice. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay. Rajvidya Rajguhyam Pavitram Midamuttamam. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Okay. Hare Krishna. So we'll have 10 minutes of kirtan, and then after that we'll have